that, it's been a little more difficult. But I actually think golf is in a tremendous place right now. And I think maybe it was a sport people had forgotten about because there's no baseball, there's no swimming, there's none of these things going on. They're kind of giving it a try again. And I feel really, really good right now about where we are with golf. And I think the state of Wisconsin, I think if Dennis and myself and maybe some other people, if we get together, I think sometimes the message is a little bit confusing, meaning, where should you go for golf? Is it the first tee? Should you play in the AJGA? Now you got the Hurricane Tour coming in. Nota Begay's got a tour that's trying to come into Wisconsin. And I personally think that Wisconsin has such a wealth of knowledge that we could do as good of a job, if not better, than some of these other outfits that are coming into Wisconsin. So I think if we can organize and send a message about where people should go to do what type of golf, because I think one of the biggest questions you need to ask all the time is, why do people play? Do they play because they want to get better? Do they play because their families play? Do they want to play college? Do they want to play competitive? What is it? And I think then we provide platforms for everybody to have an outlet to go play golf. So I think it's in a great place right now, personally.
Derek, I want to thank you very much for your time and all the best to you in the development of young people playing golf. And as general manager and director of golf at Blackhawk Country Club, kind of got a dual role there, a lot of responsibility. We appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you, guys.
Thanks, Garrett.
And we'll continue our conversation here with Dennis. We haven't talked about a couple of things that I know people are talking about on the world of golf. And let's start with, what was your thoughts on the condition of Memorial's golf course?
I think Jack is sending a message. He's tired of 22 and 23 under par. And he just sent a message on how it could be. So he's not in favor of the golf ball. He's not in favor of some of the technology that's going on, increasing hitting areas on the ball where they're hitting 300 and some odd yards. So if in fact that you want to hit it that far, then hit it in a fairway. And if you can't hit it in a fairway, you're not going to be able to play. And that's what he did. But that's how it's going to be if you're going to, there's no way that you can tigerize the course, as these guys hit it far. But when you fool around with the greens and you make them hard, and all of a sudden, they're playing just to make pars, then your 12 to 15 under is going to win. And that was the way it used to be. So I think he's sending a message a little bit that he can fix you if he wants.
Now I want to move on to Jon Rahm, because this is, I think, might be a little interesting discussion here. Obviously, there was no question it was a two-stroke penalty, right?
Well, the ball moved. So It's a two-stroke penalty.
Okay.
Now, there's two basic rules that underlie all the rules of golf: honesty and integrity. Those are the two rules. Now, I know a little bit about this guy. He's both. I don't believe that he was trying to make the ball move. But in all these places I'm watching these guys, how they're fooling with the back of the ball.
Why are they doing that? Why are they touching the grass behind the ball?
I don't know. You want to believe that it's part of their routine. But then again, I'm saying if you move the grass, then you can see the back of the ball, right?
Yeah.
And if you can see the back of the ball, then all your options open up. But if you can't see the back of the ball, you only have one option: the heaviest club that you've got in your bag to hit it. And hopefully it comes out. Might not. So I look at that part there where they're fooling with the back. I don't know why they're grounding the club like that in the high grass. So, I wanna believe that they were doing the right thing. I've been told that maybe he was looking at the pin when he grounded the club.
Why would you do that?
Well, you don't. That's my point. I mean, why are you doing that? So I know enough about these tour players. They do, cheating is not in the game. I don't see it. I have not seen it in all the years that I've been out there. There's been honesty and integrity that goes on. How many of these people call, shots on Missel when the wind blows the ball? So you change the rule to that. But this business of putting the ground and fooling with behind the ball and pushing down on the grass, I question a little bit.
Yeah.
What's really going on?
What do you think is going on?
I can see the back of the ball. If I can see the back of the ball, I can use any club. If I can attack the back of the ball, I can do wonders with it. But when you're starting to press down on the ball, on the ground, then I have to agree with the two-shot penalty.
So there's really nothing you can do about it, right? I mean, in terms of stopping them from doing what they're doing, right?
No, unless there's a camera on it and the ball moves, and then you're going to get a two-shot penalty. I just wonder what kind of an attitude he would have had if the 2 shots cost him the tournament and then the number 1 ranking in the world. I wonder then how it would be. It's easy to say after I win by 4 shots, okay, I still win. And, you know, I give this guy a lot of credit, and I'll tell you why. He has, it seems like a lot of those guys have a little bit of a temperamental issue. Because
he slammed his driver once.
Sergio has it. I watched Seve do it. They all had it. But this guy's a young guy, and he overcame all that. And Mickelson, they brought him up, is a good leader for this guy. Mickelson's been around and is going to give him how to make it politically correct what he's doing. And he's done a great job. And he's really strong. He's got some fundamentals that I see that, I would never go ahead and advocate, certainly, but he gets by with it because of his strength. And you'll notice those guys playing with that upside down wrist are of that size. Between him and Koepka and Johnson, they're all big boys, and they can go ahead and flip the club, or flip the club. And that's why, it goes a long ways. But I got to give him a lot of credit. I mean, he's been a good player for a long time, and he's now coming into his own. He will be a factor in that Ryder Cup.
1-877-729-1070. That's the number. 877-729-1070. If you want to ask a question of Tiz, what's a Tiz? That's a Tiz, and he'll answer your question after this timeout on the Golf Effect Radio Network. Sculpted by glaciers, played by champions, the University of Wisconsin Golf Course, University Ridge, is open for play and awaiting your arrival. The Robert Trent Jones Jr. design University Ridge is now offering 18-hole walking green fees for as low as $46 plus tax any Monday through Thursday. This 18-hole rate won't last long, so visit universityridge.com or call 608-845-7000 to reserve your tee time. Play where the Badgers and the pros play. University Ridge.
Now that's a parking spot.
Introducing the I may have underestimated the size of my car policy with accident forgiveness from American Family Insurance. Insure carefully. Dream fearlessly. Get a quote. Find an agent. Visit amfam.com.
Optional policy features not included in base policies. Review policy for coverages and exclusions. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Play the best kept secret in Wisconsin golf. Wild Rock Golf Club in Wisconsin Dells. This Herdston and Pride design not only features stunning views from elevated tee boxes, but it also showcases the natural beauty of the surrounding area that will dazzle your senses. Secluded and sheltered from the outside world, Wild Rock is unlike many places you played before. A true test of golf for players of all skill levels. Book your tee time online today and see what you've been
you guys got to carry it through
wildrockgolf.com. That's wildrockgolf.com.
Hello, this is Paul Brown. On behalf of Dennis Tiziani and myself, we would like to thank American Family Insurance Company and the Stricker Foundation for allowing us to help them raise money for the Birdies for Health campaign during the last 2 American Family Insurance Championship tournaments. Because of their backing and our efforts of promoting the Birdies for Health campaign, we were able to raise more than $120,000 for Alzheimer's research at UW Hospital. Obviously, that successful effort would never have happened without the very generous support of people in the Badger State and around the country. Not only are we very grateful for the support, but you should know that 100% of the money raised for research went to the Alzheimer's and Dementia Research Center at UW Hospital. Even though the American Family Insurance Championship won't be held this summer, we will look forward to next year's tournament, where we, along with your help, will continue the fight to find a cure for Alzheimer's disease. And we're back on Talking Golf on the Golf Effect Radio Network. 877-729-1070, the telephone number to call. If you have a question of Dennis, now's the time between the remaining part of the show here. We got about 10 minutes. So if you've always wanted to find out about your golf game, or maybe you got a problem with your swing or something, 877-729-1070. And while we await, let's see if we get any calls there. Dennis, what should the strategy be of any player on the tee box?
Well, 85% of the time that a right-handed player, not you guys, left-handers,
Yeah.
85% of the time you tee off on the right side of the tee, you're going to go over the ball. In other words, your shaft is going to come over. So you should be working right-handed player center to the left, eliminating then one whole side of the fairway, the left side. So you should be on there and making sure that it's fairly level that you're hitting, and making sure that you're getting a target that's far enough out there in the distance. Okay, you can pick one out right in front of you, but it's that distance target that you want to get by, and making sure that then you can go ahead and manage your game accordingly. Geez, I'm playing good today, or whatever, that I'm hitting my target, so you can do it. But center to the left side of the tee on the tee.
877-729-1070 is the number to call. When you tee the ball higher, you get more distance, right?
No,
Is that not true?
no.
Okay. Why would you then tee the ball higher? What's the advantage to certain people who tee it a lot higher than other people?
Well, some from behind, they're hitting from behind, so they're going to catch the ball getting up. But the thing on the ball, when you're teeing off or you're putting it on a tee, especially in a tee, I do it on the fairway also, but you should start to work on the ball. Hit the ball, and the operative word was hit. Hit the ball higher on the ball, which then means you're be catching the ball on your shaft, on your club face, in the loft that it was geared to be. The higher you hit it on the club face, the higher the ball's going to go. It's going to go higher because there's more loft up there. So your 10.5 might be a 13 or a 14 if you hit it high. That's why it's going to go up. So when you're teeing the ball, the trick with teeing is to work on the ball. The higher I hit it on the ball, the lower I can make it go. Obviously, there's less loft. So if I work underneath the equator, right, I'm going to hit it higher. If I hit it on the equator, it should be a normal 52 degrees or so. It's the maximum distance in a out here, 45 in a vacuum. So I work on the ball a lot, much like you would play pool. So when your driver, work on the ball, and the operative word was hit the ball higher. Don't drag it through the hitting area. Make that strike. The assumption there is, for me, that your hands are on correctly. Because if your hands are on correctly and you make a hit instead of a drag, it'll go in the direction that your hands are out of position.
What's the key role that shoulders play in the swing?
Well, the biggest, it is the only move that you really have to make is your upper left quadrant, your shoulders. Now that's that's 7 vertebrae roughly that you should resist with your legs, with your hips, and with your pecs and abs, stomach, and get your shoulders to go to the right. Now you'll go to the right only a certain distance. Now, from an instructor's standpoint, and you've got your club on her, it's going to be like at 8 o'clock. That move then, with your shoulders to that point, as long as there's resistance now, the next move, resistance with your hips, your pecs and abs are going to turn. Resistance there, and then your hips are going to turn. The significance of all that is, and that's really, again, the only conscious move that you have to make, is that upper left-hand quadrant has to go turn around and down on the right. Because what I'm trying to do is get my pecs and abs in a position that through the ball, that my pecs and abs go through before my shoulders go through. That the core, hips and pecs and abs and shoulders don't go through at the same time. They go through at a different time. Hips first, pecs and abs next, and they go through. And go to your question now, significance of that is this, that those shoulders then will be not holding, but they'll be in that strike zone, that 8 o'clock position that your shoulders turn. That's when you want to make contact. If you're not doing that and you become a shoulder releaser instead of a hand releaser, then shoulders determine the path of the ball. The shape and trajectory is in your hands, but the path is the relationship of your shoulders to the line at impact, governed by your footwork. So you're going to go ahead and make that move, and your pecs and abs then are going through before your shoulders, keeps your shoulders in that 8 o'clock position or in that shoulder position. Then you can go ahead and release the club and have direction.
We got a couple of minutes left on the show. What's the most significant thing or to make your downswing successful? What is it that makes that a successful down on the downswing?
It's footwork.
It is footwork.
It is for sure. Right heel, when you go to the right, your shoulder turn, which I just told you is the only conscious move you have to make, is inside your left thigh to the right. But your weight goes to your right heel. It has to get to your right heel, right? Now I'm behind the ball. Then it goes from right heel to left heel and then to toe. So the weight transfer, right heel, left heel, toe is the way it goes. We see a lot of people here who don't get there. They dipsy doodle, so to speak. They'll take their shoulder turn and they'll turn it into their left side instead of around it. If you turn it in, then you're going to have a reverse pivot. But if you can get around, so weight goes to your right heel, then to your left heel, and that weight or that movement preserves that 8 o'clock position that I just talked about. Once you do that, then pecs and abs before my shoulders gives me the arm speed. The only thing that you have to do then is you need to sync up your hand action. You need to sync up your hand action with that release.
David just gave me some instructions. What was it there, Mr. Engineer? Yeah, we've got less than 2 minutes left. Should you always putt from the fringe?
Putt from the fringe?
Yeah.
Well, your worst putt will be your best chip.
Yeah.
And again, if I can see the back of the ball, and that's what we were getting to before with the Rahm incident, if you can see the back of the ball, then all your options open up. And if I can putt it, I'd never chip it. If I can chip it, I'd never pitch it. So if I can putt it, never pitch it, or never chip it. If I can chip it, never pitch it. And because balls roll in the hole. Very rarely does the ball fly in a hole. So you want to get a club that the ball's going to roll a hole in.
And one final thought on Steve from you. 1 minute left on the show, but one final thought on Steve, where he's at right now.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to know what he is? He's in a real good place. This 3 months or 2 months that he had off was he really didn't work at it very hard. And he did what he's supposed to do. He's with his family. He's watching them. He's keeping them home. He's still the same way. You watch him out here. He's in a cart by himself. I get some conversation with him about it. But I always told you that the history of him is in his future.
Yeah.
And it may not be just in winning these tournaments, but now Ryder Cup and going on. And the time that he's spending with these young players is not always finding out about how good they can play. They're finding out from him what he knows. He's teaching them.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Tiziani, Dave, and Kevin for your help on the show. That's another edition of Talking Golf on the Golf Effect Radio Network.